everybody. Welcome to Anime Sickos. It's the podcast for geniuses and the only podcast where we look at the four pillars of modern misery: anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. I am Tom, an anime sicko.
I am Joe, an anime sicko.
We got one patron. This is a New Zealand patron. Could you believe
their money's different?
Yeah.
They're double dollars, right?
Yeah. They, like the Finns, have like ultra mode activated on their money because their PM is a hot babe.
You build up combo so much faster when you spend the babe money.
Exactly. This is Anaphylaxis Maximus. That's a funny name.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll be sure to use your New Zealand money to, I don't know.
Hopefully get citizenship, if I'm being honest. I'm going to say that because we have these New Zealand dollars, you have to let us stay.
Yeah. We're going to show up to Jeff Bezos' compound, and his army of guys is going to be like, you can't come in. And I'll be like, we're funnier than him. And they'll be like, oh, shit, okay. And then they'll let us in and kill him. That's my take on the future, folks. Anywho, Joe, we watched some anime.
We did.
First time watching anime in a long time. We made time to sit down together and watch a feature anime film. There's a lot of anime movies coming out these days. Joe, what did we watch?
We watched Mad God, which is just like it's evil Gumby, folks. It's evil Gumby.
So a lot of time we say that movies are anime and they're not, and it's like a funny joke, and we have a silly justification like we did for Roadhouse. Mad God is animated because it's animated. So like slam dunk. Don't fucking talk to us about it.
It's also animated because the guy who made it hates it.
Yeah, he had a mangaka's mood when he was creating this fucking film. So a little bit background. Mad God is directed and mostly animated by a guy called Phil Tippett, who is a stop motion guy. That's his big thing. You may remember in Star Wars where they're on the Millennium Falcon and they're playing weird chess where like holograms of little clay monsters like go around and beat each other up. He animated that. You'll recall also in Empire Strikes Back, the walkers, like the big walkers that they fight on the snow planet. He animated those. And then like you'll recall they came up with computers and they didn't do stop motion no more. So he was doing this project in he studio called Mad God, and he was like, stop motion's dead. No point continuing. Then about 20 years later, some people were like, hey, remember that fucking guy who was like a great stop motion animator? Let's fund him so he can finish his long gestating film project. And he did. It's Mad God. This fucking movie.
Sometimes a movie is about seeing a bunch of stuff that makes you say, wow, that's fucked.
We always spoil everything we talk about on this show.
But there's no way to spoil anything in this film, honestly, because it is a spectacle. It's a gross spectacle. And us describing it does not even come close to sitting through the thing.
To consider Mad God a spoilable film is like to consider a restaurant meal at a Michelin-starred eatery to be spoilable if I tell you what it tastes like. Like,
yeah,
no.
It's just, no. It's... And we're going to describe some insane shit. That's why I'm really excited, because just taken at face value, what occurs on screen is wonderful.
I want to talk about, before we get into the actual film, the process of how we watched it, because I wanted to watch it in person, both because, watching it like over Discord and like talking, we won't have to talk during it, yeah, but like having another app open, it's just too much. I didn't want to do that. So I'm like, no, we'll do it in person. Also, I have some fucking trinkets from Spain I want to give you. So how about this? You come over to my house. I have it downloaded. I downloaded it. I torrented it. So I have the file on my hard drive. My PC is hooked up to my TV all the time. So all I got to do, Joe, is press open on this file. We're watching it in high def. Beautiful.
Tom, your system sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Certainly set up and working.
Yeah.
I'm going to say a hard pass. What's going to happen is you're going to come over to my house with your external hard drive, and you're going to say, "Do you have a way to play this?" And I will say, and I will unintentionally lie, because I like an idiot updated my laptop, like my personal laptop, to Windows 11, and it's BitLockered itself, and now I don't. Goodbye.
Wait, what? I don't know what that means.
Yeah, BitLocker is like this level of security, like at the boot level, and it doesn't matter. You come over, and I'm like, all right.
I will do an Abbott Costello routine with my Chromecast for 20 minutes.
Yeah, so first of all, what saved us is that it was on Shudder.
Yeah, I think that was like part of the funding that I referred to. Is that like it got an exclusive distribution deal with the streaming service Shudder.
Right. So, and because it was a real streaming service and not like the movie trying to play in a Dropbox page being casted, it casted to the downstairs TV. So I hit play, and then I ran downstairs like an idiot. It was a stupid setup. The thing is, we never watch TV, so anytime someone was like, you use it, right? I'm like, yeah, I got it.
It was truly fun. Joe, if you haven't been to Joe's house, which I gotta hope is most of you listeners, the fucking TV's on the ground floor. The computer that is being Chromecasted to the TV with Shudder on it is on the second floor. So I'm on the ground floor to just make sure that it works. And Joe truly has to scurry down like a little bug the stairs as fast as possible. It was very funny.
But in the end, it worked out. And then we spent the next, 90 minutes feeling very uncomfortable.
80 minutes. Okay.
80 minutes? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I said to you, like in such a fit of hubris, it's going to be short. It's only 80 minutes. It'll go by in a flash.
Wrong, bitch.
Yeah, there's
a weird time tunnel, and everything is longer. In fact, the movie mocks you for this fact, because there's this gag where there's someone being tortured, and like there's a clock in the room, and you can see the seconds slow down.
Yeah, and
like, eventually like going backwards a little bit.
Yeah, and they do a close up of the clock as this character is being brutally tortured, and it gets to the point where you're like, certainly they can't do a slower second, and then there's like it ticks, and then you wait like 10 seconds, like an insanely long time, so long that like you start to like lose your mind, like cut to something else, and then it just takes another second, and it's just like, Jesus Christ. You know what this movie is? There's a viral tweet that went viral a couple days ago by Lindsay J. That is guys be like, wanna watch a movie where you're uncomfortable the whole time? It's really good. That's Mad God.
Yeah. So we've established that, like, okay, you're going to see a bunch of fucked up shit.
Also,
what is the mechanic?
I don't think we suggested this. This really needs to be explicit. This whole fucking thing is stop motion animated. The whole movie is he toys.
So cool. Like, it shows you something just grotesque and disgusting, but at that same time you have to be like, oh, what a technical achievement.
I mean, like, you see here's the thing, Joe. What I truly believe is that nobody told Phil Tippett about drawing. Like, they didn't tell him you could draw a background, so he just has to make it out of he toys and put it in the garage and like take little fucking photos of it. Okay, so we've talked a bit about the movie. What actually happens in it? And also, when we clocked what was happening, both of us made a connection in our brains.
So as much as there is a plot, there is a character. We have a main guy who has a World War I gas mask on. He's got a trench coat. He looks like a stop motion gas mask guy. I don't know what else to say.
He's a G.I. Joe man. He's a little guy. He's one of He Toys.
And he's wandering, and his wandering is the reason you see this rotating cast of freaks and violence, is because he's wandering around. He has a map, and every time he pulls his map out, much to my dismay, like more of it falls apart.
Yeah, it's crumbly map, and also he's really not trying to like keep it together.
There's no way that map means anything. Anyway,
there's one point where he takes it out, and it's like the size of a postcard. And as he's unfolding it, I'm like, if parts break off now, that's just on him. And they do, and he lets them fall. And I'm like, it's smaller than your hand now. Like, you didn't need to let that happen. Anyway, sorry.
So he has this fucked up map, ever shrinking, and he's just slowly walking around looking at just huge beasts that would kill him. Like he's aware of the danger. Like he kind of takes a safe path, keeps his distance from everything, but
he hides behind things from time to time.
Yeah, and when he's hiding behind these things, we see like Gumbies. That's too. Like, we see pube Gumbies get murdered for fun.
Yeah. There's a pig poop balls monster that it's a big pig with a huge dick and balls, and it's constantly having like diarrhea explosions, and little shit men made of hair are like try to go up to its balls after and like wipe it down, and then they get shit in the face. It
really sounds like Tom just like made that up, like just did the worst sort of rambling gross riff, but like that's it.
No, I'm describing it very very sincerely and faithfully. He's walking past all this shit, and like this is essentially a silent film. There's no dialogue.
No one says words.
The guy never says anything. He never emotes. He never seems to react. Like he's taking all of this in stride. He's like, I'm walking. Like, for sure I'm walking. And that's the main thing that I do. And here are all the things I'm seeing. Weird, huh? And this is when we sort of clocked that, like, oh, this is the movie. We both had a light bulb go off.
Yeah, we were like, this is Blame.
It's Blame.
Yeah.
Folks, I don't know if you are familiar. There's a manga series by a guy named Tsutomu Nihei called Blame, and it's the same. Like, it's the same thing as Mad God.
Instead of like fleshy, grotesque architecture, Blame is a forever industrial hellscape. But it's the same, like, just aimlessly following a guy as he gets into his, like, I wouldn't even call them shenanigans because they're not like big encounters. He's just kind of going around.
Yeah, I mean, in Blame, what happened is there used to be a fucking internet that everyone could log onto with their mind, and you could like order automated robots to like build and repair things by like thinking about it. And then all of a sudden, nobody was able to log on anymore. So, it's a good series, but it has some flaws, the chief of which is it portrays not logging on as a bad thing. Anyway, all of the robots that build this stuff have gone haywire because no one can tell them to stop. So they have just been building a cyberpunk world for probably 1 million years. So there is just what the series is my man Nihei wanted to draw the most fucked up sci-fi cityscapes, and he's like, well, I can't just put out an art book called fucking Places I Thought Up, so I'll have a little guy walking around and not saying anything.
Well, he's on a motorcycle a lot, which is also a cool way to show lots of cool cityscape.
Yeah, there's one part in Blame where he has to get on an elevator, and he takes the elevator to the destination, and there's nothing happens. It's like 3 panels because it's like the elevator worked as it did. But if you actually look at like the panels in the elevator, you can see that like 5,000 years passed for the elevator to get to where it wanted to go. And so that's just like, oh shit, okay. So that's Blame, and it's dope as shit because you see imagery that you will see in no other manga, and that it like literally Mad God's that. It's just like there's no real plot. It's just
it's the hell version of Blame.
Walking around hell, goop. There's goop. Joe started to get into this before, and I told him no, cut it. We'll save it till later. And now I think it's time to do it. One of the first sort of like set pieces you see that really grabs you by the brain and stays with you is the first of many instances where there's basically like the resurrection potion from Ranking of Kings, where like there's this insane Rube Goldberg machine of disgusting shit that's going on. Remember from Ranking of Kings when they made the resurrection potion?
Yeah.
So our guy's walking along, and he's walking by these like 10 giants with huge heads who are all strapped to chairs and are being electrocuted constantly.
Yeah, they have like skull cages on.
Yeah, at first you're like, that's pretty bad. But it gets even worse.
Because the thing is, the electricity that is being emitted into the giant's brain, you better believe it's causing them to shit nonstop.
Just big waterfalls of diarrhea coming out of every single one of these giants' asses.
They're not eating it. They aren't eating anything new. I don't know how it happens.
And you're thinking, well, what's going to happen with this shit? Well, if you've ever played Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, you'll know that there's an entire world where every level follows these fruits as they get more and more processed into juice and then finally made into fucking ice cream bars for the boss of the level. So every single level in the world is a different step in the process of these fruits getting turned into ice cream bars, and then you fight the guy who's eating them. That's happening here, except what happens is the shit goes into a huge, disgusting mouth. There's just like a disembodied head with fucked up flesh with its mouth gaping open, and it's drinking all the shit. And then it's connected to a bunch of tubes. These tubes go down for probably 1,000 years. They're made of flesh, and they're constantly undulating, and they're goopy. Eventually, we get to the bottom, and these goopy tubes shoot out a disgusting green fluid. This disgusting green fluid is loaded into some sort of mold, and then it's shot into the mold, and then the mold opens, and what comes out of there?
Pube Gumby. Just if Gumby was all pubes.
Yeah.
There are many of him, and their job, as far as I can tell, is to die in increasingly pointless ways.
Yeah, they're like doing some sort of genericized slave labor. OSHA would be furious because pretty much every single thing that they do involves like 5 motherfuckers who are just sort of standing around getting their heads plopped off. And it's very funny because clearly
there's no railings anywhere.
Clearly there is a little water balloon inside all of these Pube Gumby models, because when my boy Phil Tippett animates them getting crushed, there is like a pop of goop that is so funny every time.
Yeah. The funniest Pube Gumby death is at some point there's like these slabs that are flying around, like the 2001 Odyssey monolith.
Yeah.
And there's like a middle distance shot of one of the Pube Gumbies walking, and then like a whirring noise, and just this perfect slab just shears his head off.
Oh, isn't there? There's one part also where like they're walking and there's like this hole, and one of them looks in the hole and a big fire comes out, and he's just like, it's just like a skeleton, and it falls into the hole, or like it turns to ash or something. And another one is like, what was that? And just the same fucking thing.
Yeah, the fire hole is like a Mortal Kombat like stage kill.
But like, imagine that shit. Also, every once in a while, there's like a loudspeaker that tells the Pube Gumbies what to do. And
it's a baby.
Yeah.
I hate that baby, Tom.
Don't think that because there's a loudspeaker that there's dialogue in the movie. It's a horrible baby. If you played Resident Evil 8, you know the baby part where a huge baby slug tries to eat you and makes the worst sound? It's that sound.
You know what's another baby I hate? The baby from Mr. Show, when it's like the baby from the future that makes them do the show. I hate that kid. I have such a visceral reaction to that.
There's so much. So we described that fucking shit. That was like a big Rube Goldberg machine. Like I said, that was like the process for making the resurrection fluid from Ranking of Kings, where it's like, first we have giants, then we have shit, then we have a head that eats shit, then we have tubes, then we have pube men. Then the pube men work for a baby. It's like, okay, cool. There are also so many parts of this movie that are just like an image that we are shown for like 15 seconds, and the whole point of it is fuck this, right? And then we move on. I think the funniest one is pretty early on. Our World War I helmet gas mask man is walking around, and he opens a door, and in the room that he's looking at, there's like an operating table, and strapped to it is this sort of ape-like monkey creature that looks at him with a pleading, like, please help me look. And then he looks in the corner, and there's sort of like a gold mannequin of a woman. It's like a dingy chipped, like, I know all these people are fucking plastic because they're little toys, but like this one is meant to be like, this is a mannequin, this is not a living thing, and it's like playing with its pussy. Yeah, it doesn't have.
Yeah, and the monkey doesn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah, and our guy just looks at this for a couple of seconds. He takes a beat. He just shuts the door and keeps walking.
Yeah, correct move. That's very makes me think of The Shining at the end, where there's like the creepy blowjob pig mask guy.
Yeah, it's just like, don't like this. Anyway, like so much of the movie is just don't like this. But like, imagine what you're seeing is like meticulously animated by a master, the grossest possible images that could ever be, and you feel like you're there because it's real, it's physical.
So can we talk about the twist in the movie now? And the twist is that for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're like wondering, where's our guy's probably taken the briefcase to some place on the map that he's looking at, right? Like that's probably like the plot.
Yeah, and he does. So this guy takes the briefcase to, and you're not going to believe this, a mountain of briefcases.
Yeah, we saw this and we're like, oh no.
And he opens the briefcase and it has a spy versus spy bomb in it. And he starts the bomb countdown. And then he is promptly killed by some FromSoft boss.
Yeah, the one reborn from Bloodborne gets him. He didn't look around enough and didn't notice the one reborn.
His iframes suck.
Yeah, he didn't do any rolling. If you have played Bloodborne and you know the shape of the one reborn, you'll know that it's a really fucked up shape that's hard to animate because it's not right. It's just the wrong shape for a being to be. Well, this motherfucker animated it with his goddamned hands. Yeah, our guy gets fucking got, and he gets brought to the doctor, and the doctor and the nurse are normal. I would quit that job.
I did not think I would see actual human fucking people in this film.
It was truly fucked up. It was just like, oh no, like these guys are like There's, I think what it is like if it's all just toys, it's just like this is bad. But like I couldn't be here. Like I would never be here because I'm not a toy.
Right. But because like, the nurse is real, I could wake up here.
Yeah, and like the doctor, he's clearly insane. Like he loves blood. he like opens up our protagonist's chest cavity and starts like tossing out huge globs of raspberry jelly that plop on the wall and like drip down goopily. The nurse seems like it's a living, like a real nurse. I'm just like, well, I'm in hell. But I gotta have my like you see her go home and she just like sort of
okay, no, this fucking her home is like a blanket on hell's floor. She just like lays down and there's a little alarm clock.
It's so fucking funny. She has like a little pillow that's just like a bunch, like a bundle of cloth, and she's like, "Time for bed." I did note, I said, at least, you know, as bad as their workplace is, and as much as I would quit if I was a nurse there, at least they still have a mask mandate because the doctor and nurse
That's true.
Both wore masks the whole time. So we should talk about what they fucking do with why they're doing any of this shit. So the guy is like. The doctor is tossing the innards of our previous protagonist out on the ground. At first it's goop, then it's money, then it's like jewels, and then it's
there's
books.
A sequence like they remove money out of this guy for a very long time. He has so many doubloons in him.
Yeah. He puts like the doctor puts his arms like up to the shoulder into his chest cavity. It's very fucked. But eventually they pull out awful like hell maggot baby from the guy.
So that guy was pregnant.
Yeah. With the hell maggot.
Yeah.
Fucking Christ.
So then the real human nurse swaddles it, and then there's a very disturbing sequence of her running down like gross hallways with the screaming maggot. And the fact that she's like a real human woman in this stop motion context makes everything just fucking weird.
Yeah, she gives it to this gigantic plague masked creature. It looks like Murgo's wet nurse from Bloodborne. It's got a plague mask. It's got a huge wide brimmed black hat.
Like 40 like strands of ribbon floating off of it.
Yeah, and like each of the strands that are coming off of the brim of the hat have like some fucking doodad tied to the end, and they all jingle as it walks. And it has weird knife hands, and it has like these diaphanous like strips of its robe that float in the background as it walks. And there's a sequence where this thing takes the awful baby and it starts walking down a fucked up hallway. The background is fucked up and the background is moving constantly. And this thing, as it walks, the 50 strands of stuff hanging off of its head keep fucking jingling and jangling with every step, and the diaphanous things of its robe are floating in the breeze. And
this
as
is
it's holding,
still stop motion. I want to be clear.
It's holding the maggot baby, which is writhing and screaming independently as this is all happening. And I turned to Joe and I said, "Joe, this walk cycle took more work to animate than I've ever done in my life."
Yeah, and you don't even mean for like money. You mean like brushing your teeth, like any activity.
Yeah, like if you like all of the jewels that I have generated in my life, like could not do that. It was like because it's so smooth. It's smooth, folks.
The patience required to do this is to me a personal hell. That's also an aspect of this film that I kept thinking about. It was just like, God, what if I had to make this? Would, oh God.
Because like it's very like it doesn't take a fucking genius to be like, I bet Phil Tippett, the animator, is the mad god. Because like what does it take? Like I'm trying to put myself in his shoes and I just can't do it. What does it take to one have these images in your head? Because I've never had images like this in my head.
I do now all the time because of this film.
You have them in your head and you're just like, I need to make this real. And by make it real, I mean like I literally have to build this place I'm seeing. And I have to make this little man walk through it, and I have to have him see the monster, which I could hold in my hand. It's here. Anyone could look at the monster and it's real, and it's going to take me 30 years. Like it, and also, let's be real, it's going to make no money. Like, like, say what you will about, like, these days people understand about stop motion. Nah, not in the way that matters.
Just think about how fast shitty CGI can be punched out.
Oh, it's so fucking good. Oh, but okay. So our first guy gets fucking killed. And what happens now? Buddy, we cut to the surface of the world where there's a bunch of Fallout New Vegas guys, and they just pick another one to send down on mission 2.
Yeah, it's like management is a guy I will describe as Wolverine Gargamel, and he is just like this guy with very long fingernails, and this is when we realize that, oh, it's a fucking roguelike.
Yeah, it's a roguelike movie.
It's a roguelike movie because this guy, the sequence before he picks a new gas mask guy to go on a stupid quest, he's putzing around, tweaking his builds. He's like checking his talent trees and shit. And eventually they just lower another gas mask guy, and he is luckily given a map that isn't falling apart all the time.
This map is the maps are made by the fucking Fates from Greek.
Yeah.
And this map is made out of what I can only assume is human skin. But because of that, it doesn't crumble as easily as the one that was made out of fucking paper.
Yes.
Obviously, the previous guy who failed in his run, he got a lot of in-game currency because this new guy was able to start his run with the vehicles perk unlocked. And this guy, like, I'm not going to say that what he does is easy, but compared to the first guy, this is like such baby mode run. This is like when you're playing a roguelike and you get exactly the best item first, and it's like, oh, I'm playing on easy mode. He's just driving a little fucking Jeep across the country and like, oh, there's a monster. I'll drive around it. I'll just drive.
Well, and before he got the Jeep, he had a lucky break with a working, I guess, motorcycle, some sort of moped.
I thought it was going to be like a gag because when he first gets out of his little like diving bell into Hell World, there's a bike and he's like, let me get on the bike, and he like tries to move it and it completely falls apart in his hands, and I'm like, haha, it's not going to be that easy. And then he pulls out a fucking working motorcycle, and then he finds a working Jeep. He goes through war hell.
Yeah, there's a part of the bad place that is just war happening.
Yeah, it's like war as a weather event.
Yes.
There's just like constantly multiple mushroom clouds going off on the horizon.
I laughed because there is a shot of the horizon which is in order from left to right: massive twister, mushroom cloud, second mushroom cloud.
It's so good. It's so
like
good.
How could things look worse?
You know what? So this movie really is. It's the blood machine. It's our famous phrase, the machine will have blood. This guy in his fucking stop motion animation studio, he built the machine that we're talking about. Like, it's real because he made it and filmed it for his movie. The entire premise of the movie is like, it sure feels like in this world, no matter where you go or what you do, there's horrible beasts with no souls that exist only to either suffer pain or inflict pain. There's no reason, there's no explanation, and there's no solution. And I'm just like, oh shit, yo, that's what we be talking about.
In our vision of the analogy, there isn't, at least when I do it, there's no diarrhea. There's none.
Well, you do talk about it constantly when we try to talk about coffee, just to knock me off my rhythm.
That's just because one of my values is honesty.
Fuck you. God. I will. There's one other sort of main character, and when I say character and main character, take these with big scare quotes. But like, there's one other being that we spend a lot of time with, and this is very funny because it's like so pointless. The big plague beast that's carrying the maggot baby that was taken from the chest cavity of the previously killed protagonist. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna take it to was essentially a wizard. The wizard is gonna do some fucking Rube Goldberg shit, and then that baby is going to be turned into a plate of gold dust. The gold dust will then be thrown into a portal, which will recreate the universe, rendering the cycle endless, so that there will always be a mad god world where people are doing this, and that there really will never be a solution, and it will always be this. However, this little wizard character who does this and turns the baby into a plate of gold dust, before the monster shows up with the baby to like start the process, this guy gets like a 10-minute solo scene to just be an asshole.
Yeah, there's like this section that's like very colorful and like the only visually pleasing landscape in like the whole movie, because there's like a nice little place he has.
Yeah, he has like this jar, and it's beautiful and colorful, and there are these like little funny looking dumpy monsters who live inside, and they look pretty cute. And like the wizard freak dumps like mealworms into the jar, and the little guys inside go nuts. They're like, "Oh boy!" And they start eating them like noodles, and they're like having a great time. And then the fucking awful little freak wizard presses another button, and it opens up little compartments in the jar, and fucking aliens looking like they're from the Zen part of Half-Life come out and fucking kill them.
Yeah, and he's like, "Excellent, I'm an asshole. Time to continue to do this for a little longer."
These two Frankensteins that are like beating the shit out of each other with shovels.
That's us.
Yeah, and we think like, I wonder what these Frankensteins are for. And then like the little wizard freak shows up and wordlessly emotes something to the effect of "Stop fighting," and he just electrocutes them for like way too long.
Like, it's not funny. Like, it's too long. He's already dead. Like, that.
There's so many things like that in the movie where, like, if the timing was snappier, this could be funny. But, like...
It takes its time.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you're still... It's still on? Oh, you're gonna make the lightning stronger? Oh, no. Oh, why are you reaching for the controls? Oh no, is there a third, even stronger level of lightning? Oh, fuck, there is. And like these two Frankensteins are fucking out of their minds. And like what even, like, what were they getting punished for?
I don't know if they're being punished as much as their job is to shovel the shit, and they weren't doing it. I think that was what was occurring.
Because, like, as soon as they stop fucking getting zapped, they shovel shit. And yeah, so we see a lot of the wizard just going around doing that shit. Not really. It's just another instance of like, hey, look at this. Pretty bad. Yeah, well, now it's out of my head and in yours. Fuck you.
Yeah, and then the dust. This dust from the crushed baby.
Yeah.
Restarts the cycle. That aspect of it makes me think of, did you ever see Don Hertzfeldt's Meaning of Life?
I've seen a bunch of his stuff, but I don't recall which ones.
Yeah.
Pretend I didn't. Let's assume I didn't.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, it's similarly like a technical achievement, but instead of it being a wonderful stop motion achievement, he does, like, I forget what the term would be, but like when you take a picture, draw, and like animate that way, like in like a very rudimentary way. And he did a film like that called The Meaning of Life. And it is just one of those things where it's like, there's not a plot, and like you're just going to see stuff happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it ends on that similar sort of like cosmic looping note.
Mm-hmm. Man. Think about this movie. Fucking looks so cool. And
It does. It's very gross, but it does look cool.
I was trying to put this into words, but like, and I'm gonna try again now on mic. I feel like Mad God is an unreviewable movie, and by that I mean, if you were to review it solely as like just another movie, you would not. I feel like you would not come out with like it's a must see. And I think that is like that's why I call it unreviewable, because like it clearly is a must see, but it's not a must see because like it's a great film experience so much as it is like they found like they've discovered a new color. Like you have to see it. And it's like, is the color pretty? Like, no, it's not. It's the worst color yet. But like you have to see it. Like, can you believe that it exists? And like that's what I mean. Like when people are like Mad God, it didn't really have a plot, didn't really cohere. It felt like it dragged. 80 minutes. It felt longer, honestly. And like, yes, it does drag. Yes, it doesn't have a plot, but like,
shut up. He made all that. Look at that. Look at it. He made all that.
Yeah, you're missing the point. You're never gonna see shit like this anywhere else. You're never gonna see a goopy guy. You're never going to see a monster with human teeth that it's clearly he got a model pair of teeth from the dentist and put it in the monster. And its mouth is therefore so fucked. And like, you're not going to see that nowhere else.
No. And this was a no-wife movie. No.
Yeah.
This was only for the fellas.
Yeah.
We obviously were like, would you like to watch a movie? Here's the pitch. It's gross and you're going to hate it.
Yeah, it's going to make you feel bad. You're going to turn it off and be haunted for a while. You like that?
Yeah, is that's cool?
Turns out no.
To do that on this earth where you have limited time.
It's so good though. Okay, so I'm gonna get into some specifics that I learned from my research. So I'm like, what is this motherfucking guy who does this? How did he make it this good? Because if I'm remembering stop motion, usually it looks pretty jerky. Like you remember Clash of the Titans when he's fighting the fucking skeletons? Like, yeah. Obviously that's like a great feat of animation. It's famous for a reason, but like the skeletons kind of move in a jerky way. They don't look exactly natural. The
Wallace and Gromit is obviously smoother, but still jerky.
Yeah. But like the movements in this movie are like really smooth. Like it never feels like that like sort of juddering that you sometimes see with stop motion. You know why? It's because fucking Phil Tippett. I looked this up. I discovered it. Phil Tippett invented a method of adding motion blur to the frames of stop motion, because that's the reason they're jerky. Because every frame of stop motion animation is completely crisp. And if you were to actually film something moving, there would be frames that are not completely crisp. And so when you don't see blurry frames, you're like, what the fuck? That's wrong. He invented a way to add motion blur to stop motion. First time it was used was the AT-AT walkers in fucking Star Wars. I didn't even know those were stop motion until I read about this. I don't know what I thought they were. Obviously, they're not CGI. But I was
it's like, a guy in a suit.
I was like, they put a dog in there. And like, it looks so fucking good. This guy, he also, I want to read a excerpt from a article about the movie. Tippett has repeatedly said that he hates Mad God. The process of being consumed with something he detested so much culminated with him being briefly hospitalized for psychiatric treatment. Tippett has told interviewers the hospitalization occurred both before and after completing the movie.
Oh, so it had to bookend it. That's fun.
Yeah. I've seen some people be like, ugh, I hate the tortured artist trope. Honestly, if you don't like it, why am I supposed to? And I feel like that's sort of misreading what Phil Tippett hates Mad God is trying to communicate. You feel me?
Yeah.
It's not that he thinks it's bad. It's that
He hates that he's compelled to make it.
Yeah, he thinks it's evil.
Yeah. Well, it's also clearly occupying 100% of his brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he has a level of patience that is incredible. I mean, it's a project that took, 30 years? And I realized he wasn't working actively for 30 years. But start to finish, we're talking 30.
Dude, I'm thinking, when I am not working actively on the Sicko project, I'm thinking about it. And in fact, it gets worse because I'm just like, I start like tapping my foot faster and faster, being like, when can I start? When can I start? When can I get back to it? And it's like, if I let 20 years go by thinking that like, I'm never going to finish that, but like maybe I will. I still have some of the models in my studio, I still do. Like, I can tell that would drive me fucking insane.
Yeah.
I will say, though, the way the way that, like, I coped when, like, the imagery was getting too much was I took a moment to, like, sort of gain perspective and be like, all this is some guy playing with he toys.
Yes. Yeah.
And that helped a lot. Just like that's just some toys. It's like that guy that died.
Joes.
That was just a G.I. Joe. Oh, fuck.
I feel like this movie was a poster child for another phenomena we love, which is the Stink Carnival from Gyo.
Yeah, baby.
In that Ito piece, that Ito manga, what happens is the main character gets out of a hospital bed and he leaves and he walks for a little bit and then he goes and there's a disgusting carnival and the ringleader is like, hey, you want to see some gross ass shit? And he's like, well, I guess. And then he goes into the carnival and he sees a bunch of gaseous, disgusting farts and monsters. And he's like, wow, that's nuts. And then he leaves the Stink Carnival and just kind of keeps going.
Yeah.
And like,
Stink Carnival never comes back.
No, never. And this movie is the Stink Carnival. Like, it just like picks you up, puts you on this little like track for a while, and then back to your life.
It's Mr. Bones Wild Ride. Get back to your life. It's so fucking fun. Just like, anyway, so you know what it fucking feels like? Do you remember this from Yu Yu Hakusho? I forget what it's called. It's called oh god,
the Spirit Gun.
It's called Chapter Black, and it's like in the fucking Sensui arc. This villain is Sensui is the previous spirit detective before Yusuke, and he's turned evil, and he wants to end the world. And the reason why is because he saw Chapter Black, which is a spirit artifact that just contains every evil thing that's ever been done by humanity. It's all just like, it's all gathered together. And he looked at it. And he was driven nuts and decided to become a villain and end all universe and end all life because like what good is
nothing
life?
Is redeemable here.
Exactly. This movie feels like you got shown Chapter Black and are like, anyway, you got work tomorrow morning. You better go to bed early. It's like, oh no.
You came over Wednesday, which is the fact that it was garbage day. So, like, after you left, we just did that normal routine with that floating around in my head. Was very funny.
No wonder he hates Mad God. It's Chapter Black from Jesus Christ. This movie whips ass. Like, it really is.
It's definitely worth seeing. And I don't think it's. I mean, it is grotesque. It's palatable, but I don't know. Like, if you're squeamish, for sure, you want to stay away. But, like, it's mostly goopy, like, gross outs.
Yeah.
Is how I would describe it.
It is very unrelenting. You know what it is if you want to see, if you've ever seen a metal cover and you're just like, I wish I could walk through here.
I wish I was stuck in there.
That's it. I also think like The mindset of a metal fan, which is just like finding sort of
Oh,
joy in unrelenting bleakness and misery.
the landscapes also made me think of the Berserk anime when the egg wakes up Griffin and everyone is transported to the face zone.
Yeah.
And it's like the landscape of like living mouths and shit.
I just looked at our document of notes, and we haven't said that it's Mr. Bill's blame yet. We said it was blame, but Mr. Bill's blame is so fucking funny.
There was a Mr. Bill sound in it. At one point, one of them dies, and that happens.
Yeah, he goes, "Oh no!" And like we were like, "That wasn't Mr. Bill, was it? Was that Mr. fucking Bill?" It probably wasn't, but it's so close that it might as well be. Maybe it is Mr. Bill. I feel like, if you're doing stop motion where people get fucking killed and
that's the Wilhelm scream of stop motion.
Yes. Joe, we're running up to time here. We've said a lot about Mad God. It's definitely a challenging watch. I don't know if it's a great film in terms of its like structure, other than the incredible craftsmanship that's gone into it. The craftsmanship and the imagination really are the selling points, but like other than that, like, does it hold up like as a film for like repeat watching? I don't know. But
my take is it is a bucket labeled some scary, creepy shit, and you just stick your head in, and it just so happens that bucket is also a technical achievement that's out of this world.
Yeah, and like when you pull your head out, someone's like, "Was that scary and creepy?" And you're just like, "The most that I've ever imagined."
Yeah,
something.
I hate that bucket.
But like at this point, Joe, we've done this so often that I think it's kind of our like shackles at this point. Where anytime we talk about a movie, we have to do our stupid 19-point review system, and like I think this. And
usually we write the jokes for the points before we even.
Yeah. This is where the joke sort of falls apart. Like we've pretended like it's actually very smart and like this actually works. Good movies will answer these questions correctly, but like I think this is where we sort of have to bite the bullet and accept that like what we did was we wrote some stupid fucking jokes for the Northmen and pretended like they were universal rules. So we're going to go through them. You're going to see that it's so dumb. We have the dumbest possible system. So let's go ahead and just get it out of the way. So first of all, does it have sick melee fight?
Yeah. Okay, so there are definitely pube Gumbies that are killed in melee fights.
Yeah.
I would describe all of the hell beasts that, like, the kind that have the people mouths.
Mm-hmm.
What they do is melee.
Yeah, they do. They chopped up an innocent tentacle monster with a big cleaver. The two Frankensteins had a sick melee. That's yes. So that's a check mark. That's a ding in Mad God's favor. Number 2, is there farting? Oh, baby. The pig poop balls things have big wet farts constantly into the faces of their butt minders.
And it goes without saying that farting is occurring for the diarrhea shit from the giants.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so there's big time farting. Does the main character recite his motivation 10 times? Well, there's no talking, but he does take his map out 10 times.
He does. That's sort of like Motivation 101. You look at the same object 10 times. That's, I don't know. It's a half.
Okay, half. Is there freaks? Well, yeah. There's hardly anything but.
There's no extra credit, but like if there was an opportunity to get it, it would be in this section.
Yeah. Does anyone say multiverse?
No.
Yeah, no one says anything. So that's another check in its favor. Is there a Shippuden in it? I would say sending the second agent down.
Yes, that literally is a time skip, and the time skip of a whole new universe made from dust.
Yeah, okay. Is there someone spec'd for magic? The fucking wizard guy.
Yeah, he's also spec'd for asshole.
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't have to say the hero is spec'd for magic. Is there key items? Hell yes. The baby.
Yeah, baby.
The map. The briefcase. This is all, yeah. There's definitely key on. Is there a mini boss? I'm saying I think is the one reborn a mini boss.
Yeah,
the thing that
for
kills
sure.
that guy. Yeah, because he loses to it. That's how he loses his roguelike run.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's another point in its favor. Next, is there mini games?
I'm trying to think of all the Rube Goldberg machines of
Yeah.
like misery and destruction, and if anything had a pointlessly entertaining aspect. I'm gonna say I'm not feeling mini games.
I'm trying to think of what one might be. I want it to be yes so bad.
Well, there's kart racing if you count the Jeep.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, actually.
Yeah, he drives through Bob-omb Battlefield.
Okay, yeah, no, that's definitely mini games. He does mini games. Is there a rageful corpse hound? I would consider
Like half that shit is. I don't know what I'm looking at, and I assume it's a rageful corpse hound.
I mean, I'm thinking if we think about like as you called him, Wolverine Gargamel, the old asshole up at the top who's sending the agents down to blow it up with dynamite. I mean, what are all of them but rageful corpse hounds? They're trying to get some fucking revenge. I'm saying that's a yes.
Okay. He's clearly committed his life to this task.
Yeah, exactly. Is it about downgrading a little town? I mean, what else could it be about? Like that's it. The town just gets worse.
It sucks.
So that's a yes. Is there the Joker?
They're all the Joker. Everything's the Joker. The floor is the Joker.
The little wizard fucker, as I said, he gets 10 minutes just to be cruel to other creatures for no reason. Did someone order the Joker? That's a ding. If historical, does anyone have modern ideology? It's not historical because it's very of the moment. We live in Mad God world today. I'm looking out the window and I'm seeing the shitting giant.
But to its point, like there is no like identifiable ideology. This is just chaos.
Yeah, the ideology is just like, oh,
torture.
No. So I'm gonna give that a check. Does the main guy behave morally at all times?
When he's in the Jeep, does he use his turn signal?
He's going straight. He does constantly smack the radio, not to make it work. When the radio starts working, he smacks it to turn it off.
That's good. Music is decadent.
Yeah, we did say last episode that music gives you the horny feeling. So he is trying to avoid that. So yeah, he's trying to behave morally. Also, they're trying to destroy all the shit. They're trying to blow it up with bombs. That's moral. So that's a ding. Is there nudity? Far too much.
Like, there's just like a dick where it shouldn't be, but yeah.
Yeah. The pig poop balls monsters have to have dick and balls flopping around. The balls have to be horrifically engorged such that their diarrhea farts land on them and need to be cleaned by their handlers. There's definitely nudity.
Yeah.
Is the violence sick enough to break through the dead layer of apathy the world has draped us in?
Buddy, yeah.
Who is it ever?
I saw New Horrors. It was so fun.
Is it possible to hear what the characters' names are? And to be clear, the correct answer is no. That's when we established this, the answer that we want to get is no.
Well, they don't say it, so that's a no.
Yeah.
And also, it lets us do the fun game of you just have to say Wizard Guy, second G.I. Joe.
Yeah. Main guy, gas mask guy. Yeah. So that's another ding for the movie. And the final one of our 19-point review. The final point in our 19-point review system. Does the main guy display Goku-like behavior?
He doesn't give up. I don't know what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah. He dies. Goku died. Do you think that counts?
He doesn't shoot a beam or anything.
But he also is deeply incurious about all the insane things going around all around him, which Goku would also be.
That's very much Kid Goku.
Okay. I'm going to give that to the movie. So yeah, fucking. It got 18.5 points out of 19.
Well, so it's as good, if not better, than The Godfather.
Yeah, this is the best movie of all time. Actually, it turns out that our review system does work. Holy shit. Oh my god. We have the gift of prophecy.
You kind of ate your own words there, because at the start you're like, I think it's actually an unreviewable movie, and we've established that no, it's in fact reviewable. It's objectively good. We are
correct. I didn't have faith in my own genius thoughts. I thought possibly that I had displayed some type of human trait and had a inherent flaw. That was not the case. I will never doubt myself again. I apologize for doing so. Jesus Christ. This is so stupid.
I'm not going to watch it again.
Yeah, I might watch parts. I might like scroll through to find like one image I want to see again, just to be like, wow. But like the act of sitting through the whole thing, like it like we really were going nuts at the shot of the clock where the seconds were getting slower, because it felt like it was pointing at us.
Yeah, it felt personal. It felt like the movie was pointing a gun at us. I didn't like it.
Just like the pain, like you think, oh, there's only 20 minutes left. We're almost done. It's like, oh, these are gonna be the 20 fuckiest minutes of your existence.
And what is the countdown till? Just so some guy can walk in lazily bisect the guy.
Anyway, watch Mad God. You're definitely not gonna have seen anything like it, and you probably won't see anything like it again. Unless some
we
other
watch it on Shudder, the scary streaming site, which I gotta make sure I tell them my trial will be over because I'm a good boy and they should not have my credit card.
Yeah, and it turns out, Joe, if you are subscribed to Shudder, like it's like you opened the door to hell, and like the monsters from the movie can come out. They can like come through your PC and go blah at you while you're asleep. So you gotta end that free trial, like for your own safety.
Yeah, I think I got 10 days.
Yeah,
I'll get to it.
Streaming service is 100% movies that are gonna make you feel bad.
Yeah.
Oh, also read Blame. Now that's a good manga.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same thing where you just see spectacle. You see sweeping landscapes that are not gross.
Yeah.
They are certainly imposing and just awe-inspiring.
Yeah.
Industrial.
Oh, I'm seeing that they've made a Netflix movie of this. Ugh. Don't watch that. Read the manga. Whatever. I gotta make dinner. Are we done? Is the episode over?
I would really love to stop thinking about this movie, because the thing is, it's gross.
It's really gross. You made us sort of a gag about this. Like, there's so much shit in it. Like, there's too much shit.
It's very scatological.
There's no solid ones either. Like, no one's dropping logs.
No.
Anyway, that's all the time we got for Anime Sickos. Thank you for listening. I've been Tom, an Anime Sicko.
I've been Joe, an Anime Sicko.
We're gonna watch some fucking, like, cat videos or something. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Joe is also a sicko. You can follow him on Twitter at ShariaUncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Twitter at Anime Sickos, or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.